Very hard to come by. My next guest says that these scares should serve as a constant reminder of who's trying to get into this country. He is Tom Tancredo, of course, the member of the House Committee on International Terrorism and author of the bestseller In Mortal Danger. Congressman, what did you make of all of these developments today? Some easily dismissible, others just plain scary.
Sure. Well, you're absolutely right on both counts, but it is an indication of just exactly how touchy the situation is getting, how uptight people are. More and more concerns being focused on the people coming into this country, the means of transportation. All of this is just an indication of the heightened awareness that most people feel, and a certain degree of fear about the potential for very serious and very ugly situations. It's understandable, totally understandable.
You have said that we've been misplacing our attention here with the attention on terror and forgetting how closely it is linked potentially to illegal immigration. Explain what you mean.
Well, there's a couple of things, but first of all, of course, you have to realize that when you have porous borders, and if people want to come into this country and want to do so without an awful lot of attention, that's an easy way to do it. They come in shoulder to shoulder with people who are coming for, quote, just the job no other American will take, but they're coming for something else. And we're actually getting finally, the FBI has reported to Congress, has given testimony, that they have now arrested people. I think that the last number they gave us was over 50 people who have either links to terrorist organizations or were plotting some sort of terrorist act in the United States, and they had snuck into the United States across the southern border. Of course, many more have done so. They are here already, and it's a result of the fact that we are operating on this bizarre sort of security plan which says, let's catch them once they get here, rather than let's stop them before they ever get across the border.
The fact that people don't link the two together, Congressman, what's the danger of that?
Well, I don't know who doesn't do that anymore. I mean, most Americans link it. Most Americans understand that there is a connection between porous borders and an increased vulnerability. It's the administration, it's members of it's a number of my colleagues who continue to think that somehow or other we can eventually create this secure perimeter of the North and South American continent and somehow do away with the borders in between. I think it's a bizarre idea, but I'm telling you, it's what pushes a lot of our policy. The idea of creating, as I say, this common defense perimeter, North and South America. People talk about it, Canadians and Mexicans. We pretend like that's a feasible plan, and we can put less emphasis on our borders and more on our perimeters. I don't think so.
You know, even when your name is mentioned, Congressman, you score very highly in a sort of a presidential mock-up in a couple of years. This Zogby poll is another one that's interesting. Your name isn't mentioned, but your background and position is, and you score highly with that, presumably on the whole illegal immigration debate. What do you make of this presidential attention?
Well, I'll tell you, it's certainly a lot easier to run your bio than it is to run yourself. I just think I'll put that out there. We'll enter my bio into all these presidential primaries. It's a lot easier than me doing it.
But that was interesting. I don't mean to dismiss it. What was interesting about it is just your position and your background, and that was a very winnable ticket, regardless of your name. What did you make of that?
Neil, that is exactly the point I had been making about all of these things. You know, when you and I talked about the fact that I won a straw poll in Michigan in a Republican event, and my colleagues treated that as if I had actually won the New Hampshire primary. They were astounded by it. And what I kept explaining to them is that it isn't Tom Tancredo. Most of these people probably have never met me. It is that my name is connected to an issue they care greatly about, and they know that issue is what carries this whole thing forward, this presidential thing. I'd like to think it was just me and that I'm just so wonderful. Everybody's saying, you know, I think this guy to be president of the United States. I am well aware of the fact that it is the issue that is, and that's what my colleagues should understand, and that is what every single person running for president should understand, that it does matter to people, and it is an issue they've got to try to address. And yeah, Tom Tancredo is out there doing it, and as a result, he's winning straw polls in Michigan.
But those in your party, Tom, are not to the degree that you'd like them to. Certainly not the Democratic Party, as you pointed out. Other Democrats will disagree. So if that is and continues to remain the case, are you running?
Yes, sir. I've told you that if the situation develops that that no one else will take this issue on, not just with their rhetoric, but with their heart, because people will see through that, I think. If they will really do this, then I'll be knocking on doors for them. If no one does, I will do it, and I will push it as hard as I can, because I believe with all my heart, Neil, that we're talking about the country here, the salvation of the nation.